Hmm. Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. This review is going to be a little bit all over the place because I gotta get to something that the scene is very questionable. The scene is very questionable because I'm going to be completely honest. So far in the past couple of months, I watch all four shows. By the way, I think this reveal and how it was done might have been the dumbest one I've seen. Of course, it might be a Tower B&B, but and this is the whole everybody finds out that Sasha is pregnant. Okay, because it couldn't happen in like the most non-creative way possible. Tracy has been on one even before the whole Drew thing. She's been on one for a while. She's been extra, and tonight is no different. Okay, she already starts off with Sasha whining about her drink being the bougie, privileged woman that she normally is. They're talking about Willow, and Ned comes in there, and Ned is actually the voice of reason. Ned's like, yo, listen, what Willow did was bad, okay, but we all done some bad stuff in this house. We can't really sit there and start judging her and stuff like that, and cheating and stuff. And Olivia's like you or something like that. I think she says something along those lines. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a reflex." I was like, "No, it wasn't. You were just being." I don't know what the hell she was just being, but it just seemed like I guess it was supposed to be a comedy thing, but like it was kind of poorly executed, I would say. Anyway, Ned's like, "Listen, we got to sit there and show her some grace because if we push her, and we push her and push her and push her. This is all about Tracy just being extra, like, oh, needs to be, boundaries and stuff like that. Because Nina came in there, I was like, Nina is her mother. Like, what are we doing at this point? She came back. She agreed to come back for Monica's sake, and let's be very clear, she didn't have to do that. Okay, but she came back. And that is like, hey, listen, maybe we should sit there and show her some grades. She'll see the light of day, and they'll push her far away from Drew. Because once he is like, this is all Drew's fault. Yeah, okay, Ned, whatever. Anyway, they're going back and forth, and apparently she needs something stronger. So she asks her for a bourbon or whatever. She doesn't like how the bourbon is. She starts snapping at Sasha. And at some point, Sasha calls her. Because even the first time she asked her to make a drink. Jason was like, no, that's fine. You don't have to sit there and make that drink. So Sasha gets upset at this point, and she calls her dramatic. She yells randomly. Now, granted, you got everybody in that place. And before that happened, Chase also was like, hey, listen, what she did was a mistake. I don't call that a mistake. It's just a bad decision. But she's like, hey, listen, Willow's a good mom. Um, you know, that's just my 2 cents. He was already in a bad mood, and it seemed like Olivia just could not read the room with him when he walked in, and she was like, "Oh, so you plan on that pregnancy progress?" I mean, I'm not trying to um, put any pressure or anything like that. I'm like, why don't you ask him how his day was? Like, anyway, they get in there, everyone's not there talking or whatever. Gio comes in out of nowhere. Anyway, at some point she sees a rat or a mouse. And she climbs up and she's like go kill it or whatever. And Jason offers to do it, but Jason's like, no, I want you to do it, Sasha. You call me dramatic, so I want you to sit there and do it. You want the cook to sit there and climb on some bookshelves And this is where once again I'm like, I don't really understand why she chose to work for the Quartermaines. Okay, privilege hypocrites, and Tracy is just the worst because what Tracy wound up doing, she wound up doing something that she pretty much said she wasn't going to do the last time. She wound up doing that, belittling her, yelling at her, being upset with her. This is all stemming from Monica's health and everything like that, and I get that, but like you don't take that on other people. And so I'm just like, you could have worked so many other places. You choose to work for essentially Tracy at this point. Anyway, she's like, no, you're going to get up there, you're going to sit there and do it. And if you don't do it, then you're going to be fired. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we're doing this again. And finally, Sasha snaps and she's like, I'm not going up there because I'm pregnant. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. This whole thing came about because of a goddamn mouse. Like, okay, sure. Very, very uncreative, but okay, we're just gonna. Because here's the thing, I feel like there could have been so many other different ways that they could have went about this, as far as everyone finding out, or some people finding out, and instead it gets brung up because Tracy, and I hate saying this word, but Tracy is not there acting like a privileged, self-centered bitch. And so now everyone's like, oh, like, whatever. And, Tracy's like, oh, well, you slept with your cousin. Ah, well, you had a parade of men coming in here. Who was it, pretty much? And I'm just like, wait, hold on. So you went from accusing her of banging her cousin to basically snip the air slut shaming her. That is awesome at this point. And I think she asked her for something else, and Sasha just walked off. And eventually Jason came up, and Jason was like, so does Michael know? So that happens. Kai is not in a good place right now. He just found out, well, he tells Trina that, if he plays again, he can wind up paralyzed. Something with a crack in the spine or, I don't know, disc or something. And so Trina decides to get her mom to sit there and talk to him. And, Portia's like, hey, listen, go see a specialist. Go see a specialist that specializes in sports injuries. Might tell you the same thing, they may not, but, why not? And at that point, it just lifts his Kai's spirits. Which, okay, that's fine. Um, I mean, imagine you spent there setting yourself up to do something, and then that whole thing is just dashed. And part of me felt like, I mean, I'm glad he handled it this way because I guess we don't need like a long, drawn out him being super depressed, but that can really set somebody back. That can completely set somebody back. I mean, before she came in, he was like, "Oh, I'm nobody. I'm nothing now," and that's a normal reaction. Um. Anyway, his spirits is lifted, and he compliments Trina, so they're starting their romance, I guess, whatever. At some point, Gio was not there saying that, because at this point she was like, oh, I'm doing it all alone and by myself, and da 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 da. Right? And Gio was like, hey, listen, I had my mom, it was just me and her, and it was great, and she was a terrific mother. Now, that whole thing, that whole speech was also coinciding with Brooklyn finding out that she's fine as far as the test is concerned, but she's sitting there still thinking about the child that she gave away. And Lois is like, did you think that I pressured you? They talk it out, they hash it out, whatever. And she still thinks about that child from time to time. And a whole fan's guess is that it's Gia. So I guess we'll see. Now, Felicia and Anna was not there talking about Emma staying out late. I guess they saw her at a bar. Well, Emma lied to Anna, not there saying that she was studying, and Felicia found her at a bar. Um, and at first, because I'm telling this out of order, at first when she was like, yeah, I was driving home and I saw her at a bar, whatever, and it was like 2 in the morning, I'm like, okay, she's a grown adult. She was with multiple people. It wasn't like she was like with one guy. Like, I don't really understand. Like, but the lying, I get that part. That part I can understand. So you talk to Emma when Emma comes in there, and then Emma says something along the lines of, she was at a fundraiser, for animal cruelty and stuff like that, and then she was there talking about, oh yeah, afterwards I went to the bar with some friends or whatever. Um, I she got into a little bit more about the lab testing and stuff like that, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that even the thought of that kind of just boils my whole blood as far as animal cruelty. But anyway, the point is that she's lying, right? And then I think Emma says something along the lines of, you're very uptight and stuff like that, and all you do is work. And I'm like, yeah, that's called being an adult. Yeah, she probably needs to have a little more of a work-life balance, but like that's called being an adult and dealing with shit. Um, now Jack comes to see Carly. Carly said that she had a good visit and everything like that, and they get to talking a little bit. And Carly's like, why are you doing this to me? I mean, why are you doing this to me? Why being like all nice and just going out your way and stuff? And part of me sitting there just thinking like, I don't know if that's so much of a smart question. Like, guys, not to saying every guy on the planet is going to just do stuff just to, but I mean, you can kind of put two and two together a little bit. And he says something along the lines of, he started really liking her and started really feeling like she was a really good friend when she came to visit him in jail. And I'm like, but she came to visit you in jail because she needed something, right? And you've been doing nonstop favors for her, nonstop favors for her. And I'm not saying this to knock Carly. I'm just saying like, bro, you are doing way too much, way, way, way too much. Like, yes, I get it. Carly has a pretty smile and everything like that, but bro. And then there's a point where he wants to invite her to a spa or whatever. She's like, I can't do it because I got to coordinate some sort of lab cultures or whatever that they need from GH or whatever, and she has to figure out how to get it from there to Germany. And Brandon's like, hey, listen, it's no problem. They just drop it off at the WSP agent and they'll just ship it over there. Well, did you just sit there and say that you're going to use your government resources to ship lab cultures for Carly? Bro. And then afterwards, he's like, so, I mean, now that that's taken care of, you have to do that. You want to go to the spa? I feel like I'm looking at him and I see like this giant sign that just meant to saying, doing too much, bro. Doing too much. Now, at some point, Carly calls Felicia and, they get to talking about Jack. And Felicia's like, you got to be careful with him because he's always on an agenda. He always wants something. And Carly's like, no, no, no. He's been really good to me. I'm like, and he has been really good to her. I just feel like he's doing way too much. Way too much. Um, anyway, he's at the spa. And, he's, one of the guys left. Valentine comes in. Valentine, puts on this accent like he's a girl, whatever, saying, do you need something? And he says he needs something or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, you telling me that you couldn't tell the difference between a man and a woman? Okay. All right, bro. Anyway, he comes in with a wire or a rope, which exactly really too. I mean, I get it. It's a soap opera, But I'm like, bro, you a WSB spy. I know what those things kind of look like when you want to take somebody out. It looked like he just. It looked like it was no bigger than like a shoelace at this point. Um, Jack's kind of a big guy, so I don't see that going so well. Anyway, Portia is telling Isaiah that she has to sit there and inform the families about what wound up happening. And I'm not gonna lie, that just sounds like that's going to be traumatic for the families. I mean, I can't even sit there and imagine someone you love dies in the hospital, and it's already sad enough. But then you find out that it wasn't even their time. So Alexis comes in, and she has to sit there and tell Alexis um, the whole thing. And then for some odd reason, Alexis wanted to talk to Isaiah, which I don't really know why. Um, and that's when, of course, Portia goes to talk to Kai, and Alexis is like, like, why would somebody do that? You know, I mean, Sam did have some enemies back in the day. You remember way a long time ago, back in her Conan days, when that woman came to town to sit there and get her. But I remember that story specifically, and I remember instead of her just really like taking her out or whatever, she made her do a TV show, and I guess it benefited her. Anyway, the point is, Sam did have some enemies back in the day. Um, I feel like they keep changing up. How many people actually died? I know it was Sam, it was Dex, it was some unknown person. It was going to be Michael. Um, I don't know. Numbers are just kind of. Also, long story short, Chase finally gets to talk to Brooklyn, and while she says that she has good news that she can get pregnant, he can't get her pregnant. Um, my theory is maybe it has something to do with that time of Peter, giving him that stuff. That made him like really sick and stuff. So that could be a theory. And to be fair, I was sitting there listening on Kyrie's live stream yesterday a little bit. With Kyrie, if you're watching, Brady is more than a damn four. You stop being mean. Um, and that was one theory that he pulled down. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, I also feel like there's so many damn characters I probably missed something. I know I missed something. But I have no idea what I missed. So I'm looking at my handwriting, I'm like, is that Brooke or Brooklyn? Yeah, that's Brooklyn. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Now I might have missed one or two things, but that is just the general gist of the episode. If I miss anything, either write it in the comment section or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. And I will see you in the next video. And hopefully live stream.